Stress-free cooking is brought to you by... From the sunny Mediterranean comes one of the world's finest olive oils for all your cooking needs. Pompeian extra virgin olive oil, classic Mediterranean, and extra light tasting. Pompeian makes everything better. From our table to yours, O-Pee-Chee Wines, fine wines and spirits from around the world since 1913. Cutco, the world's finest cutlery. Melissa's, the freshest ideas in produce. And Sub-Zero Wolf Appliances.
Hi, I'm Barbara Seelig-Brown. Welcome to Stress Free Cooking. Today I have a great show and a great guest. My guest is Bill Monroe. He is an expert on olive oils, and so we're going to do a show based on olive oils and really creative ways to use olive oil. So Bill, welcome.
Thank you. It's great being with you again. The weather is great. Kitchen is fantastic.
Thank you.
And I missed you from last year.
Ah, well, we've missed you too. So before we get started, let's put on our bunny slippers. I've poured us a great glass of wine. It's a Chianti. I thought it would go really well with our roasted vegetable quinoa strudel because
Fantastic.
It's so
Okay.
earthy. So enjoy.
Chin chin.
What do you think?
Fantastic.
Good.
A nice aroma to
Good
it.
compliment to roasted vegetables and
Well, I'm
quinoa.
looking forward to the vegetables and the quinoa.
Good. All right, well, let's get started then,
Okay.
since you're so ready to go. I don't often have people that are so raring and ready to go.
I'm ready.
So, how are your knife skills? Are you going to do some cutting or shall I do it?
I'm going to watch you.
Okay.
I'm going to
All right.
cut my fingers or something like that.
Well, the first thing we have to do is roast some vegetables.
Okay.
And we really just need about 2 or 3 cups of vegetables. So I'm just going to start with a red pepper, and we'll cut off 2 sides because we don't need all of this. And what I like to do is cut it into strips. And then I'm just going to stack them up, make a nice fine dice. Well, it's not even a fine dice because we do want some texture and some mouthfeel. These are going to combine once they're roasted with my quinoa. And I'll just show you what it's going to look like so that you know what to expect. So this is cooked quinoa. Quinoa is a high protein grain. And actually, you probably know a lot about quinoa.
I don't know a lot about it, but I understand it comes from South America. And it's very ancient. It was used by the early Peruvians, and then it was brought to America several years ago, and one of the great grains that is being used in America to make food really healthy and delicious.
Yeah, I like that it's a high protein grain because, there's no shortage of high carb items, but I like the fact that it's high protein. So you could have a meatless meal and still have a protein factor in it, which is great.
Exactly.
Okay. So we're going to have a little onion in here. And I also like to put some mushrooms in this. So I have some cremini mushrooms. They're the baby portobellos.
Right.
And so we'll just cut these into...
Now, are they seasonal? Can you get them all year round?
Now, these are really available all
I see.
year round. A porcini is something
Right.
that's only seasonal. But
Right.
a portobello, the white mushrooms, they're all pretty much available all year round. Okay, and I thought, a nice eggplant. This is really a Mediterranean style dish. So we're going to go with our Mediterranean vegetables. So bell pepper, zucchini, onion, mushrooms. Okay. Now, when you're cutting something round, it's always a good idea to make it flat.
Right.
So let's cut this in half. And we don't need the whole thing. But then I'm going to cut it again into
So we're going to be putting this into a baking dish soon?
We are actually going to put that into a big bowl, which
see,
I'm going to
okay.
turn around and grab in just a second. And we're going to toss it with some extra virgin olive oil. And since
extra
you
virgin, that's the
are
best.
the expert on olive oil,
I
I
knew
might
the
give
olive
you
oil would
the
be coming
honors.
in.
So let me grab a bowl. Actually, the bowl is way over there on the end of the counter.
Here we
One
go.
of our friends moved it.
Let me move this grape wine over here.
Okay, thank you. So we'll put these in here. And if you could put a pinch or two of salt on these vegetables, I'm going to keep cutting while you start tossing. But before you can do that, I need to hand you the olive oil. So look at the color of that extra
that's
virgin
great.
olive oil. Isn't that beautiful?
It's fantastic. Great bouquet to it.
I love roasting vegetables with extra virgin olive oil. I
Put
think
some
it's
in here now?
yeah. I like to put the vegetables in a bowl to do this because I think you use a little less oil when you toss them in a bowl, and for flavor purposes, we want as much oil as
Well, it's true,
possible.
because when the oil goes in and it drains down to the bottom, then you just have the oil on top of the vegetables,
And
which
they get
probably improves the roasting part of it.
well,
too.
they get more evenly coated if you
Right,
toss them in a bowl.
absolutely.
And then we're going to lay them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. If I could get you to give those a nice toss, I'm going to
great.
grab a parchment-lined baking sheet.
This is coming along real good. It's coating them beautifully. And I can smell the extra virgin olive oil coming
It does
up.
smell
It's very
great.
sweet and delicious.
Actually, talk to me a little bit about the fragrance of extra virgin olive
Well,
oil.
I mean, depending upon where it's coming from, but olive oil comes from the Mediterranean region of the world. Different countries have different tastes and different flavors. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is actually being harvested now in Argentina and South America. And most of those plantations have come from the Mediterranean regions of the world, from Greece and Spain, and they're developing their product in South America. So it has different tastes depending upon the climate, its odor, and its flavor. And that's why I tell people, experiment with different brands, different products, almost like you would use a wine. Different tastes, different flavors to your product.
And find out what you like. All right, so Bill, I'm going to pop these into the oven.
Okay.
It's a 425-degree convection oven. They're going to take, because they're small, they're only going to take 15, 20 minutes at the most. So timing is really dependent on the size of the vegetables.
Right.
So if I cut them bigger, they would take longer.
I see. Okay, it makes sense.
I'll be right back.
Thank you.
While the vegetables are roasting, let's make our quinoa. So to cook the quinoa, we just need 2 times as much water as quinoa. But one thing that you do want to do with quinoa, and I've done this already, but I just wanted to show you. So what you do is you take the quinoa and you put it in a strainer, and then you just rinse it constantly under running water until the water is no longer cloudy. But we've already done that for this, okay? So this is going to go into the water. This is 1 cup of quinoa. And we're going to put it into 2 cups of water. The ratio is 1 to 2. It depends how much quinoa you need to make. I like to put a pinch of salt. Okay. Once that comes to a boil, you simmer it for about 25 minutes, and you'll end up with this. Nice and easy. Okay.
As a matter of fact, quinoa, when I first heard about the product, I went out to get it. And years ago, it was only in specialty stores. And today, you can find it in almost all supermarkets
Yes.
throughout the United States because it's become so popular.
Okay, so now let's go check those roasted vegetables, and we'll make our mixture, and we'll start preparing our strudel. Okay, Bill, our vegetables are roasted. If you could hang on to that.
Okay, great.
And what we'll do is I'm going to take this away. Oh, notice I have a damp paper towel under my cutting board so that it doesn't run away, because you don't want to be cutting and have that cutting board slip away from you.
More knowledge, more knowledge.
If you could put the quinoa in here. And I'm just going to pick up the roasted vegetables right on the parchment paper
Okay,
and just slide those right into the bowl.
beautiful.
And notice our pan is fairly clean. So parchment paper is a real lifesaver in the kitchen. Keeps things from sticking.
Knowledge, knowledge.
Okay, give that a good stir. Now I'm going to grab another parchment-lined baking sheet and the phyllo dough that we're going to be using.
Okay, that's great. Look at that, isn't that beautiful?
Okay, let me put this here, and you can just put that on the side.
Okay.
We're getting quite a collection
Drop my
over
olive
here.
oil here.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind doing the honors of brushing this phyllo dough for me.
Now, where would you find this in a typical store?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. This would be in the frozen section of the grocery store. Okay. All righty. So let's get 1 leaf of phyllo and place it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. And I'm going to ask you, Bill, if you wouldn't mind brushing that. And I thought today we'd use extra light tasting olive oil.
Great choice. Because extra light is fantastic for baking, sautéing. As a matter of fact, you know I'm the king of all olive oil. And this is an item I'm proud to say in 1987 I invented and brought to America. So I'm credited with that.
So how did you invent this?
Well, at that time people were understood the health benefits of olive oil, but they really felt the taste was too harsh, such as extra virgin today. And we put it on.
Yeah, just, now since we've done sheet number 1, we can just sort of dabble on the rest of these. We're going to do about 5.
That's great.
And
See
then
how nice this goes on?
we're going to do 1 more.
There we go.
Okay, and this one doesn't need to be brushed because
Okay.
now we're ready to put the quinoa and roasted vegetable mixture on
Good.
there.
I'm exhausted. Okay.
Sorry. You didn't know you were coming to work, right? You thought you were coming to eat.
Oh, I'm ready to eat. Looks good.
All right, so now we're going to have leftover because normally we could bake a couple of these.
Now, this is like a big tamale or something.
It's like a
that.
big enchilada, Mediterranean enchilada instead of
There we go.
South American style. All right, now this would make a great salad. We could simply make a vinaigrette with maybe a red wine vinegar and
Right.
some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, and make a great cold salad for brown bagging for lunches.
I've tried that before. It's fantastic, but this thing really looks unique. I can't wait till we try this product.
Well, this is always a big hit in a cooking class. So we're just going to fold in the edges, and then I am going to start to roll this up. Notice I'm not making you do this.
No, it would be broken.
Okay, so just keep tucking,
Okay.
and that's it. And that's why I do it on a parchment-lined baking sheet, so I can then move it over. And now we want this to brown beautifully,
Okay.
so we're going to brush that lightly with some more of that extra light tasting olive oil.
Here we go.
Here we go.
My new career.
Brushing.
Here we go.
That looks great. All right, I'm going to pop this in the oven.
Okay.
The next thing we're going to do is make a warm shallot vinaigrette that will top this.
Okay.
Let's make some warm shallot vinaigrette. This is a great dressing for any salad, but I really like it on the quinoa strudel because of the warm dish and the warm vinaigrette. So I'm going to take a shallot, and this is a shallot. Looks like an onion, doesn't it? But it's a little pinker.
And actually has a very distinct taste to it. It's like an onion, but it's not as bitter as the onion. It has a nice aroma to it.
It's a
And
little lighter, don't you think?
Lighter, and it's very easy to do some of the real nice cooking with it because the flavor comes through on it.
I think of it as elegant onion.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I like that.
More knowledge again. It never stops.
Well, yeah, you should see me at a cocktail party. Actually, one time I was at a party with my husband, and when we left the party, I felt like I did all the talking. And so I apologized to him on the way home, and he said, "That's okay, Barb. People are much more interested in food and wine than insurance." So, all right, so as I'm cutting this shallot, would you do me the honors of adding some extra virgin olive oil to my pan?
Yeah, I was waiting for that part of it.
And once we start to smell, a little more.
A little bit more?
Actually, cover the whole bottom.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at that nice,
Oh, that
nice
is
color to
gorgeous.
it.
What a great color. How about
Great.
color in olive oil? You know, years and years ago, people used to say, "Oh, I know it's really good because it's really green."
Well, the color of the oil really depends upon what region of the world it comes from. Some of the finest oils are actually golden and yellow, which come out of Spain. Italy tends to be more a lighter green and sweet, and the Greek oil is very, very dark green. So color really has nothing to do with the quality of the oil. It really deals more with the flavor and the taste and how you're going to use it.
Right.
Again, picture in your mind olive oil as wine. You have red wine, but in red wine there are many, many different flavors and bouquets.
And different colors.
And different colors.
Different
and
shades.
different shades of it, different regions of the world where it comes from. And that's what olive oil is about. As a matter of fact, most olive oil comes from regions where they grow the grapes for
Yes.
for wine. You go
Exactly.
through all of Europe. There's wine and there's grapes on the same farms.
Yes, the climate is good for both.
What a great life they have over there.
Oh, you know, one thing I've always wanted to